So, good morning, friends. So, today we are going to discuss about force systems. So, we have to talk about the definition of the force. So, it is defined as any activity which can be used for changing the position of the body. That means you have to move a body that is already in rest position. We have to apply certain amount of force, and also we have to bring a moving body to a rest position. Also, we have to apply certain amount of force. So force is required for changing the position of the body, that is from rest position to moving position, or from moving position to rest position. Certain amount of force has to be applied on the body. So then only you will be in a position to change the position of the body. So friends, this is the definition of this particular term, that is referred to as force. Now here we can see a table used for indicating the various types of forces. They are referred to as force systems. So, as mentioned in the table, the force systems basically classified into two categories: coplanar forces and non-coplanar forces. So it is very easy to remember these definitions. If all the forces are lying in a same plane, then they are referred to as coplanar forces. And if all the forces acting are lying in different planes, then they are referred to as non-coplanar forces. So friends, this is the basic difference between coplanar forces and non-coplanar forces. So all the forces lying in the same plane, they are referred to as coplanar forces. And if different forces are lying in different planes, then they are referred to as non-coplanar forces. So by plane, in the sense, we have three types of planes for representation: XY plane, YZ plane, and ZX plane. Now, if all the forces are lying in XY plane or YZ plane or ZX plane, then they are called as coplanar forces. On the other hand, if the different forces, if some forces are lying in XY plane, some forces in YZ plane, and some forces in ZX plane, so different forces, that means if different forces are lying in different planes, then they are called as non-coplanar forces. So this is the first classification of force systems. So categorized into two categories: coplanar and non-coplanar force systems. And secondly, it's coplanar forces. Again, they are divided into, four categories, or basically three categories, namely collinear, parallel, and concurrent forces. Now, sometimes the forces will be lying, all the forces will be lying in the form of a straight line. So it can be a horizontal line, or it can be a vertical line, or it can be an inclined line in x direction, or it can be inclined line in y direction. So whatever may be the case, if all the forces are lying in the form of a straight line, in the sense horizontal line or vertical line or inclined line, so then they are called as collinear forces. So if forces are lying in the form of a straight line, all the forces are lying in the form of a straight line, on a straight line, then they are referred to as collinear forces. Collinear forces. So if forces are lying in a same plane, they are called as coplanar forces. And if forces are lying on a straight line, then they are called as collinear forces. Now, friends, secondly, we have the second variety, they are called as parallel forces. Now, in some situations, all the forces will be parallel to each other. Parallel to each other. Then simply they are called as parallel forces. Now, in this, we have two more categories, like forces and unlike forces. So if all the parallel forces are, acting in same direction, either upward or downward, and then they are called as like forces. Some forces acting in upward direction, some forces acting in downward direction, they are referred to as unlike forces. But in both the cases, the forces, all the forces are parallel to each other. So that's why still they are referred to as parallel forces. So that is the definition of, this is the way of writing the definition of parallel forces. And finally, concurrent forces. Now here in this situation, all the forces will be acting at one particular point. Towards the point, it can be some forces may be acting towards the point, some forces may be acting away from the point. But whatever may be the case, all the forces will be concentrating on one particular point. All the forces will be acting at one particular point. If that is the case, they are referred to as concurrent forces. Concurrent forces. So friends, coplanar forces again they are classified into three categories: collinear, parallel, and concurrent forces. So forces lying in same plane called as coplanar forces. Forces lying in a straight line called as collinear forces. Forces parallel to each other, parallel forces. All the forces, acting at one particular point are called as concurrent forces. So friends, we have four categories. And now these coplanar forces are, classified into again three categories. That means coplanar collinear forces, coplanar parallel forces, and coplanar concurrent forces. So forces are lying in the same plane, at the same time they are lying in a straight line called as coplanar collinear forces. And forces lying in same plane, they are parallel to each other called as coplanar parallel forces. and forces are lying in same plane and they are meeting at one particular point, they are acting at one particular point. They're called as coplanar concurrent forces. So, friends, we have to be, aware of this combined definitions. If they are lying in the same plane, they are called as coplanar forces. Lying in the straight line, collinear forces. Parallel to each other, parallel forces. And meeting at one particular point, concentrating at one particular point, acting at one particular point, called as concurrent forces. Now we can combine these definitions. They are lying in the same plane, they are in the form of a straight line, coplanar collinear forces. They are lying in the same plane, they are parallel to each other, coplanar parallel forces. Lying in the same plane and they are meeting at a one particular point, coplanar concurrent forces. So these are the, sometimes you'll be getting asked to write about, combined definitions, coplanar, collinear, coplanar, parallel, and coplanar concurrent. So this is the way, merge these two definitions, automatically you will be getting, this combined definitions. So we can write down the combined definitions of coplanar collinear forces, coplanar parallel forces, and coplanar concurrent forces. And secondly, the forces are lying in the same plane, but they are not in the form of a straight line. They are called as coplanar non-collinear forces. And again, they are lying in the same plane, they are not parallel to each other, coplanar non-parallel forces. And they are called as coplanar non-parallel forces. And forces lying in the same plane, but they are not meeting at one particular point, they are not acting at one particular point. Different forces are acting at different points. They are called as coplanar non-concurrent forces. So, friends, we can frame around 6 definitions: coplanar collinear forces, coplanar parallel forces, coplanar concurrent forces, and again coplanar non-collinear forces, coplanar non-parallel forces, coplanar non-concurrent forces. So, friends, we can prepare definitions of all these terms. And similarly, we have again 3 categories. The second one we have called it as non-coplanar forces. Now, coplanar forces are divided into 3 categories: collinear, parallel, concurrent, and again as non-collinear, non-parallel, non-concurrent. On same lines, non-coplanar forces also again divided into 6 categories: collinear, parallel, concurrent, and non-collinear, non-parallel, non-concurrent. So, firstly, we have noted down this definition: which forces are not lying in the same plane, they are called as non-coplanar forces. And additionally, they are not parallel to each other. So, then they are called as non-coplanar, non-parallel forces. And again, they are not lying in the same plane and they are not meeting at one particular point. Then they are called as non-coplanar, non-concurrent forces. And finally, they are not lying in the same plane and they are not lying in the form of a straight line. They are called as non-coplanar, non-collinear forces. Similarly, lastly, friends, they are not lying in the same plane, but they are parallel to each other. And then they are called as non-coplanar parallel forces. They are not lying in the same plane, but they are meeting at one particular point. Then they are called as non-coplanar concurrent forces. And they are not lying in the same plane, but they are lying in the form of a straight line. Then they are called as non-coplanar collinear forces. So, friends, in each and every category, case of coplanar forces, we have 6 varieties: collinear, parallel, concurrent, and then non-collinear, non-parallel, non-concurrent. And similarly, in the case of non-coplanar forces, also we have 6 varieties, namely collinear, parallel, concurrent, and secondly, non-collinear, non-parallel, non-concurrent. So friends, we can write 12, definitions: coplanar, collinear, coplanar, parallel, coplanar, concurrent. Secondly, coplanar, non-collinear, coplanar, non-parallel, coplanar, non-concurrent. And similarly, in the case of in the second case, non-coplanar parallel forces, non-coplanar concurrent forces, non-coplanar collinear forces, and finally non-coplanar non-parallel forces, non-coplanar non-concurrent forces, non-coplanar non-collinear forces. So we can, friends, we can write about all these definitions. So as a whole, if they are lying in the same plane, they are called as coplanar. Otherwise, they are called as non-coplanar. Lying in different planes, they are called as non-coplanar. If they are lying in a straight line, they are called as collinear. Otherwise, if they are not lying in a straight line, they are called as non-collinear. If they are parallel to each other, they are called as parallel forces. If they are not parallel to each other, they are called as non-parallel forces. And if all the forces are acting at a point, then they are called as concurrent forces. And if different forces are acting at a different point, they are called as non-concurrent forces. So friends, coplanar, non-coplanar, collinear, non-collinear, parallel, non-parallel, concurrent, non-concurrent. And again, at the coplanar, we have 6 varieties. And at non-coplanar also, in the second category also, we have 6 varieties. So be thorough with basic definitions. So we can write all other definitions. Also, it is very easy to write combined definitions. So forces lying in the plane, coplanar, lying in a straight line, collinear, parallel to each other, parallel, and acting at one particular point, concurrent. So remember these 4 definitions. So we can write individual definitions. Also, we can write, you will be in a position to write combined definitions. So these questions will be asked in the examinations. So friends, some figures are given in this particular slide. Some figures are shown in this particular slide. They are given as examples for the forces which we have seen so far. Now friends, let us see the first figure. Now he says it is it is named as coplanar. They are named. 3 forces are given in this figure, my dear friends. F1 and F2 and F3. The first force, generally letter capital F must be used for indicating the values of forces. The first force to be called as F1, second force F2, third force F3, and so on, so forth. So 3 forces are given in this schedule. And friends, all these forces are lying in the form of a straight line. Straight line in the sense it can be in horizontal direction, it can be in vertical direction. So in horizontal also it can be in forward direction or it can be in reverse direction. And in the case of vertical direction, it can be in upward direction, it can be in downward direction. And similarly, it can be in inclined direction also, as shown in the figure. So it can be inclined in this direction, or it can be inclined in this direction, So, I mean, whatever may be the case, all the forces existing in the system must be in the form of a straight line. So this is called as a straight line, of course, a horizontal line. This can be also called as a straight line, of course, vertical line. And finally, this should be also called as a straight line. However, it is in inclined position. So horizontal lines can be called as straight lines. Vertical lines also called as straight lines. And inclined lines can be also, they're also referred to as straight lines. Now, friends, all the forces are acting on this line in the form of a straight line or along this straight line. F1 is present on this straight line, F2 is also present on this straight line, and F3 is also present on this straight line. So, okay, so all the forces are acting in the form of a straight line. So, friends, they are referred to as collinear forces. They can be referred to as collinear forces. Of course, friends, F1, F2 acting in upward direction and F3 acting in downward direction. So we need not bother about the directions. But as a whole, all the forces are acting in the form of a straight line. So therefore, they are called as collinear forces. So they can be acting in the horizontal direction. They can be acting in vertical direction. Maybe they'll be acting in inclined direction also. Horizontal, vertical, inclined. So all these lines basically they're called as straight lines. So all these forces given in the first figure, so acting in the form of a straight line, F1, F2, and F3. So friends, they are referred to as collinear forces. Collinear forces. And finally, friends, look at this plane. It is called as XY plane. So horizontal line denoted by capital X as shown in the figure, and vertical line denoted by capital Y as shown in the figure. So this is the way of representing an XY plane. Now, friends, all these forces, all the forces available are acting in XY plane only. So no force is available in YZ plane, no force is shown in ZX plane. So all the forces are shown in the XY plane only. So all the forces are acting in the same plane. They are acting in XY plane, that is, they are acting in the same plane. So therefore, they are called as coplanar forces. Coplanar forces. So friends, these three forces they are acting in a same plane. They are called as coplanar forces. And additionally, they are acting in the form of a straight line along an inclined straight line. So that they are called, therefore they are called as linear forces. On one hand, they are acting in the same plane, called as coplanar forces. On the other hand, they are also acting in the form of a straight line, called as collinear forces. So these forces are satisfying, both the conditions. On one hand, they are lying in the same plane, and on another hand, they are lying in the form of a straight line. So therefore, these two things put together are referred to as coplanar collinear forces. Coplanar collinear forces. So friends, this is the thing which we have seen in this slide, in the previous slide, coplanar collinear forces. So F1, F2, F3 lying in the same plane, that's why they're called as coplanar forces. They're also lying in the form of a straight line, also called as collinear forces. Both the things put together, they are referred to as coplanar That's why on one hand they are coplanar and on another hand they are collinear. So therefore they are called as these two aspects put together, they are called as coplanar collinear forces. So friends, this is the way of given an example for the first definition. And coming to the second figure, friends, let us see the second figure. So XY plane is given in this figure. A horizontal line for indicating x-axis and vertical line for indicating y-axis, perpendicular to each other. They are meeting at this point. That's called as origin. Of course, friends, this point is also called as origin. So this way, this figure, it is used for representing XY plane. It's used for representing XY plane. And friends, we can see several forces are shown in this particular plane. So all the forces are acting in that particular plane. That is, all the forces are acting in the XY plane that is given in the figure. So therefore, they are called as coplanar forces. Therefore, they are also referred to as coplanar forces. And friends, now let us talk about the second point. So we have four forces are given in this figure. F1 for indicating first force, F2 for indicating second force, F3 for indicating third force, and F4 for indicating fourth force. And F1, F2, F4, they are acting away from the point. Probably they are called as a tensile forces. The F3 is acting towards the point, and compressive force. But all the forces, F1, F2, F3, and F4, all the forces shown in the figure are acting at one particular point. This is the point, my dear friends. So all the forces are acting at this particular point. So therefore, they must be called as, they are referred to as concurrent forces. They are also referred to as concurrent forces. So friends, these forces, all the forces given in the second figure, they are lying in the same plane, called as coplanar forces. All these forces, they are meeting at one particular point. That's why they are called as concurrent forces. So these forces are satisfying, both the conditions. On one hand, they are falling in the same plane, and on another hand, they are acting at one particular point. They are meeting at one particular point. So therefore, they are called as coplanar concurrent forces. They are lying in the same plane. They are called as coplanar forces. They are meeting at one particular point. They are meeting at one particular point. They are called as concurrent forces. So these forces are satisfying two conditions. So that's why these two conditions. So that's why they are referred to as coplanar concurrent forces. So friends, first figure for indicating coplanar collinear forces, and second figure for indicating coplanar concurrent forces. And finally, let us come to this figure, my dear friends. So XY plane is again shown in this figure, and three forces are given in this particular diagram: F1, F2, F3. So first force F1, second force F2, and third force F3. F1 is acting in forward direction, F2 is acting in reverse direction, F3 again it is acting in forward direction. So friends, they are parallel to each other. They are acting in different directions, but basically they are parallel to each other. F1 is parallel to F2 and F3. F2 is parallel to F3 and F1, and finally F3 is also parallel to F1 and F2. So all the forces are parallel to each other. So therefore they are called as parallel forces. And these forces are lying in XY plane. All these forces are lying in a same plane, in a single plane, that is XY plane. So they can be called as a coplanar forces. So on one hand, they are lying in the same plane. They are called as coplanar forces. On other hand, they are all the forces are parallel to each other. So they are called as parallel forces. So they are satisfying two conditions. They are lying in the same plane and they are parallel to each other. So therefore, friends, these forces they are referred to as coplanar parallel forces. Coplanar parallel forces. On one hand, they are lying in the same plane. That's why they are called as coplanar forces. Other hand, they are parallel to each other. That's why they are called as parallel forces. These, things put together, they are referred to as coplanar parallel forces. Coplanar parallel forces. So, friends, we got the concept of coplanar collinear forces. There are many ways of representing coplanar collinear forces. Many ways of representing coplanar concurrent forces. Many ways of representing coplanar parallel forces. So these are some of the figures. So first figure for indicating coplanar collinear forces. Second figure for indicating coplanar concurrent forces. And third figure for indicating coplanar parallel forces. So friends, these are the ways of representing these different definitions. And now, friends, we can see this figure. This is second figure. So three planes are given in this particular diagram. So XY plane, and here we have YZ plane, and here we have ZX plane. And friends, F1 is acting in XY plane. F2 is coming from YZ plane. F3 and F4 coming from ZX plane. So friends, different forces are acting in different planes. So they are called as non-coplanar forces. And however, all these forces are meeting at this one particular point. Still, they are called as concurrent forces. So they are lying in different planes and they are meeting at one particular point. They are acting at one particular point. Therefore, friends, they are called as non-coplanar concurrent forces. They are meeting at one point, called as concurrent forces, but they are not lying in the same plane. They are called as non-coplanar forces. So both these aspects put together are referred to as non-coplanar concurrent forces. That's why they are referred to as non-coplanar concurrent forces. And here we can take one more figure, friends. So this is XY plane is only shown in this figure, and the forces are acting in different direction. F1 acting in this direction, F2 acting in horizontal direction, F4 acting in this direction, F3 acting in a downward inclined direction. So here these forces are not meeting at one particular point as shown in the figure. So this is coming to this point, this is coming to this point, this force is coming to this point, Of course, this force is also coming to this point. But all the forces, F1 and F2 are meeting at one point, but remaining forces are not meeting at that point. So all the forces are not meeting at one particular point. They're called as non-concurrent forces. And they are also not parallel to each other. One is in horizontal direction, one is in forward inclined direction, and one is in backward inclined direction, one is in downward inclined direction. So they are not at all parallel to each other. So therefore, they are called as non-parallel forces. So they are not meeting at one particular point. They are not parallel to each other. That's why they are called as non-concurrent, non-parallel forces. And friends, as per the configuration given in this particular diagram, this particular sketch, all the forces are lying, in the same plane. So maybe they can be called as, you know, what you call coplanar forces. But that is not under consideration. But here we are concentrating on these 2 points. They are not meeting at one particular point. That's why they're called as non-concurrent. They're not parallel to each other. That's why they're non-parallel. So both these things put together, they're referred to as non-concurrent, non-parallel forces. So friends, wonderful examples are given for understanding the definitions which we have seen in the previous slide. So using these figures, we can easily, write down the various definitions: coplanar, non-coplanar, collinear, non-collinear, parallel, non-parallel, concurrent, non-concurrent. So all these definitions very easily you will be in a position to understand with the help of these figures. We can very easily understand the definitions of various terms given in the previous slide. So friends, we can here note down the definition of force: activity that is used for changing the position of the body. So that can be referred to as a force. So, the position can be changed, the body can be changed from rest position to moving position, or from moving position to rest position. So application of force is very, very important. So doing an activity for changing the position of the body is very, very important. That is called as a force, capital F for indicating this parameter. Expressed newtons or in kilonewtons. And this is the formula: F is equivalent to ma. So obtained from Newton's second law of motion. Mass of the body in kg and acceleration in meter per second square, and 1 kg meter per second square is equivalent to 1 Newton. It's called as 1 Newton. So therefore, forces, they are always expressed in terms of newtons or in terms of kilonewtons. As per Newton's law of motion, this force is directly proportional to momentum. So it is written as dm by dt. And again, momentum is a product of mass and velocity. It's written as d by dt into mv. Mass is a constant parameter. So it is coming out written as m into dv by dt. dv by dt, nothing but rate of change of velocity, that's acceleration. Ultimately, F is written as a product of ma. So here also it is written as a product of mass and acceleration. mass expressed in kg, acceleration expressed in meter per second square. Ultimately, it will be coming to kg meter per second square. And this is called as a Newton, which is replaced by a word that's called as a Newton. And this is fixed as a unit of force in SI system. So we are following SI system. Friends, we are following SI system. So all the forces must be expressed either in the form of newtons or in terms of kilonewtons while solving problems in SI system. So friends, Newton has to be used as an unit of force while solving problems in SI system. So unit of force in SI system, it is given as newtons, or also it can be expressed in terms of kilonewtons. So friends, we have noted down, all these definitions in the first and second slides. So we have noted down the definitions, and also we have taken examples with the help of figures. So here definitions are given in the form of sentences. So forces lying in the same plane. Actually, we have talked about the forces lying in the same plane called as coplanar forces. Different forces lying in different planes, X, Y, Y, Z, and ZX. Some forces in XY plane, some forces in YZ plane, some forces in ZX plane. So then they are called as non-coplanar forces. And on the other hand, if all the forces are lying in the same plane, either XY plane or YZ plane or ZX plane, they are referred to as coplanar forces. And friends, if forces are lying in the form of a straight line, they're called as collinear forces. Otherwise, they're called as non-collinear forces. Friends, similarly, if the forces are parallel to each other, they're called as parallel forces. And if they are not parallel to each other, they're called as non-parallel forces. And now, friends, in the case of parallel forces, also we have, two varieties. Coming back to this point, look at this figure, my dear friends. F1, first force is acting in forward direction. Second force is acting in reverse direction. Third force is acting again in forward direction. Now, all the forces are not acting in same direction. Two forces acting in forward direction, one force acting in reverse direction, but they are parallel to each other. So therefore, they are referred to as unlike parallel forces. Unlike parallel forces. On the other hand, if all these parallel forces are acting in same direction, let us say F1, F2, F3 in forward direction, or F1, F2, F3 in reverse direction, then they can be called as like parallel forces. So if forces are parallel to each other, they're called as parallel forces. Again, these parallel forces are classified into two categories, like forces and unlike forces. And if all the parallel forces are acting in one direction, either in forward direction or in reverse direction, they are called as like parallel forces. Now, as shown in this particular figure, if the forces are acting, if parallel forces are acting in different directions, they are called as unlike parallel forces. So, friends, parallel forces again, they are classified two categories, namely like parallel forces acting in same direction, and secondly, unlike parallel forces acting in different directions. But friends, both these, in both the cases, forces are parallel to each other. So basically, they are called as parallel forces. But depending upon the directions, they are further classified as like parallel forces and unlike parallel forces. So friends, one more point here we have to remember. Parallel forces can be in horizontal direction. Parallel forces can be in vertical direction. Also, parallel forces can be in inclined, direction. So this is the one example given in this particular diagram. So these are the parallel forces acting in horizontal position, horizontal direction are shown in this figure. And the directions of these forces are not one and the same. So friends, they are called as unlike parallel forces. So back to this point, we were discussing about this factor. So they're called as, forces are parallel, they're called as parallel forces. Otherwise, they're called as non-parallel, forces. Again, parallel forces are classified into two categories, like parallel forces and unlike parallel forces. And friends, finally, we have talked about concurrent forces. All the forces, if all the forces are meeting at one particular point, all the forces are acting at one particular point, they're called as concurrent forces. And if they are acting at different points, they're called as non-concurrent forces. So friends, we can note down the types of coplanar forces. Forces lying in the same plane and in the straight line, called as coplanar collinear forces. Forces lying in the same plane, parallel to each other, coplanar parallel forces. So all these things we have seen in the figures of previous slides. The forces lying in the same plane acting at one particular point are called as coplanar concurrent forces. So these are the combined definitions, my dear friends. So coplanar forces, they can be classified into three categories: coplanar collinear forces, coplanar parallel forces, coplanar concurrent forces. And similarly, friends, we can note down the various types of non-coplanar forces. Forces lying in different planes, but acting in a straight line, called as non-coplanar collinear forces. Forces lying in different planes, but parallel to each other, non-coplanar parallel forces. Forces lying in different planes, but acting at one particular point, meeting at one particular point, called as non-coplanar concurrent forces. So friends, this way we can discuss about the various types of coplanar forces, and here we can discuss about the various types of non-coplanar forces. So these things also we have seen in the first and second slides. Non-coplanar, non-parallel, non-collinear. So forces not parallel to each other, called as non-parallel forces. Forces not lying in the straight line, non-collinear forces. Forces not acting at one particular point, non-concurrent forces. Now these may be lying in same plane or in different planes. If they are lying in same plane, they are called as coplanar, and if they are lying in different planes, they are called as non-coplanar forces. So friends, we have talked about all these things. That means coplanar non-parallel forces, coplanar non-collinear forces, coplanar, non-concurrent forces. And also we have talked about non-coplanar, non-parallel forces, non-coplanar, non-collinear forces, non-coplanar, non-concurrent forces. So friends, be thorough with the 4 definitions: coplanar, concurrent, collinear, and parallel. We can talk about any number of forces existing in any system. So we can write around 15 to 20 definitions if we are thorough with these 4 concepts. That is coplanar forces, collinear forces, parallel forces, concurrent forces. Be thorough with these 4 aspects. Very easily will be in a position to prepare definitions for all these terms given in examinations. Yes, combination forces. Just now I have told about these forces. Coplanar, collinear, coplanar, non-collinear, coplanar, parallel, coplanar, non-parallel, coplanar, concurrent, coplanar, non-concurrent. Similarly, non-coplanar, collinear, non-coplanar, non-collinear, non-coplanar, parallel, non-coplanar, non-parallel, non-coplanar, concurrent, non-coplanar, non-concurrent. So very easily will be in a position to write down the definitions of all these terms. And friends, here I mean, we have some information regarding resolution and composition of forces. So, 2 forces acting in horizontal and vertical directions, Fx and Fy, perpendicular to each other, can be shown in the form of a single force that is called as a resultant. And similarly, a single force, namely resultant, can be split up into 2 components, horizontal and vertical components. Then it is called as a resolution of forces. So 2 forces can be clubbed as a single resultant, called as composition of the forces. And a single force can be split up into 2 components, horizontal and vertical component. It's called as a resolution of forces. So friends, Fx can be written as F into cos theta. Fy can be written as F into sin theta. So R square will be equivalent to Fx square plus Fy square. And tan theta, it will be equivalent to Fy by Fx. So friends, these formulas are very, very useful for solving problems in the examinations. And here, friends, we can note down the conditions of equilibrium. So here a body will remain in the state of rest even under the action of forces. So that is the case, it is called as equilibrium. Generally, under the action of a force, the body will have a tendency to move in a given direction. But even under the action of several forces, sometimes the body will remain in rest position. It is said to be in equilibrium condition. So net effect of all the forces getting nullified. So therefore, it remains in static position. It is said to be in equilibrium condition or equilibrium position. So friends, we can note down the definition of this particular term that's called as equilibrium. And we have 3 different conditions for equilibrium, very, very essential for solving problems in examination. The first one is sigma x is equivalent to 0, that is the first condition. That means the sum of horizontal components, horizontal forces will be equivalent to 0. That is, the sum of forward forces will be equivalent to sum of backward forces. That is the case, sigma x will be equal to 0. And secondly, sum of upward forces will be equivalent to sum of downward forces. If that is the case, sigma y will be equivalent to 0. That is the second condition of equilibrium. And in some cases, sum of clockwise movements will be equivalent to sum of anti-clockwise movements. If that is the case, sigma m will be equivalent to 0. So friends, sum of horizontal forces must be equivalent to 0. That is, sigma x must be equivalent to 0. Again, additionally, sum of vertical forces must be also equivalent to 0. That is, sigma y must be equivalent to 0. And sum of all the moments must be equivalent to 0. That is, sigma m must be equivalent to 0. So all these conditions must be satisfied. If all the conditions of all these conditions are satisfied, then the body will remain at rest. Then it is said to be in equilibrium. So friends, these are the conditions of the equilibrium. Sigma x is equivalent to 0. That's the first condition. Sigma y is equivalent to 0. That's the second condition. Sigma m is equivalent to 0. That is the third condition. So they are referred to as conditions of equilibrium. So if all the conditions are satisfied, then only the body remains in rest position, and only the body remains in equilibrium. Therefore, they are referred to as conditions of equilibrium. So friends, in some cases, we will be using these conditions are required for solving some problems. So for solving some problems, sigma x must be taken as 0, sigma y must be also taken as 0, sigma m must be also taken as 0 for getting the results. So they're called as equilibrium conditions. Very, very essential for solving some problems pertaining to this particular topic. And friends, allocation of symbols are very, very important in the case of horizontal forces. Plus symbol for forces acting in forward direction, minus symbol for forces acting in reverse direction. And similarly, in the case of vertical forces acting in vertical direction, plus symbol for forces acting in upward direction, minus symbol for forces acting in downward direction. So allocation of symbols, plus and minus symbols, very, very essential for getting correct results. And similarly, while doing these calculations, anti-clockwise movements must be given plus symbol, and clockwise movements must be allotted with negative symbol. So positive sign for indicating forward forces, negative symbol for backward forces, positive sign for upward forces, negative sign for downward forces, plus symbol for anti-clockwise movements, minus symbol for clockwise movements. So friends, these are the precautions to be taken while solving problems in these topics. So instead of plus symbol, you are putting minus symbol, and vice versa, you will be going wrong in the examinations. So friends, and sometimes the problems will be given in this fashion. So according to the directions. So this is named, we can easily mark the directions: east direction, north direction, west direction, and south direction. So you can see a force, different forces are shown in this diagram. So this is the force that is perfectly acting in east direction, force that is perfectly acting in north direction, the force that is perfectly acting in west direction, and this is perfectly acting in south direction. But friends, this force is acting in between these two regions, 45 degrees from x-axis and 45 degrees from y-axis. This is called as a northeast direction. Similarly, these two angles will be equivalent to 45 degrees. It's called as northwest direction. And similarly, these two angles, this angle and this angle, will be equivalent to 45 degrees. So this force is said to be acting in southwest direction. This is called as southwest direction. And similarly, this force is at an angle of 45 degrees from this x-axis and as well as y-axis. So it is called as a southeast direction. So friends, a force acting in east direction, north direction, west direction, and south direction. And similarly, forces acting in northeast direction, northwest direction, southwest direction, and southeast directions. So friends, problems will be given in this particular form. So we have to indicate the forces in different quadrants. This is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. So northeast coming in the first quadrant, northwest coming in the second quadrant, and southwest coming in the third quadrant, southeast coming in the fourth quadrant. So friends, this is a wonderful figure which can be used for explaining or for indicating forces acting in different directions, east, north, west, south directions. Also for indicating forces acting in northeast, northwest, southwest, and southeast directions. So friends, will be doing the calculations and measuring the values of sigma x and sigma y. So if both the values are positive, then the resultant will be falling in the first quadrant. If x value is negative, if sigma x is negative and sigma y is positive, then the resultant will be falling in second quadrant. And if sigma x and sigma y are negative, then the resultant will be falling in third quadrant. It has to be shown in the third quadrant. And friends, if sigma x is positive and sigma y is negative, so it will be falling in the fourth quadrant. So the resultant must be shown in the fourth quadrant. So location of a resultant, after doing the problem, location of a resultant is very, very essential. So it depends upon the, symbols of sigma x and sigma y values. If both are positive, the resultant has to be shown in the first quadrant. If both the values are negative, it should be shown in the third quadrant. And if x is negative, y is positive, it has to be shown in second quadrant. And if x is positive, y is negative, it has to be shown in fourth quadrant. So friends, we have discussed about the types of forces referred to as force systems. So thank you very much for joining the session.